Hello and welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, Live the Life You Want. This is Jasmine. How you doing? And I'm so happy today to have somebody again I've never met before that I just met now in this second. Uh, so I'd like you guys to meet Lynn Capsalors. Is that
Yeah,
right?
awesome. Yes, you got it right. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. It's so nice that we're going to get to chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, I like to tell them how we met. So this
Yes.
is how we met. I sent her a message. I have a girlfriend who thinks you just like anything that pops into your mouth, your mind, Jasmine, you just do it. Well, this is what happened. I joined her group. So she has a group on Facebook. What do we call the group on Facebook again?
It's three principles for stress, anxiety, depression, and addiction.
Got
I'm actually the co-admin with Karan de Tony, if I'm saying his name right.
it. Okay. So I joined the group. And then when you join the group, she gives you a beautiful video that you get to find out what the group is about. And she started speaking. And I was like, okay, we have to have her on the podcast. So that's what I did. And therefore, she accepted my invitation, and voila, here she is. See, that's how you make things
Absolutely.
happen. You just,
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I think I was at the airport because I was moving and then I sent you the note. I'm pretty sure I had just checked in for my flight and there was your note. So I
oh
was like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
So let's tell the people, maybe tell me at the same time, what you're up to. Like I know that you just moved from Connecticut to
I
Florida. So
did to
forget the
Florida.
snow now. No more snow for you.
Oh, that's why I did it. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'll share this with you as I feel like we're just having a cup of coffee and we're chatting, right?
We
So
are.
you may need to know a little more about me than you wanted to. But I turned 60 last year, right?
Yeah.
So, which is fine. I was fine with it, no problem. But I decided late at the end of last year, going into this year, I was going to say yes to myself,
Mm.
right? I've always kind of on the back burner, oh, I want to do this. Yeah, but, or I want to do that now. That's not the right time. I lost my mother and father that I helped my sister. We took care of them last August. They died 26 days apart, my parents.
Wow.
So it was a blessing. They were both in their late 80s. God bless them. And it freed up more space in my life because the last couple of years it was constant care for them all the time, doctor's appointments, this and that. Anyone who's a caregiver knows the story.
I
So
know.
I just, right, oh, you understand, right? So I had some more time, and not even just that, but I've just decided, you know what, there's no such thing as someday is made up of thought, right? There's no such thing, it's not real. So had an opportunity, the universe works in mysterious ways on how this went down. That could be another episode. But anyhow, I've decided, okay, let's do it. And so we did. Me and my sister moved together and we came here 3 weeks ago and we're absolutely loving it. It's beautiful. The people are warm and friendly. And there's just so much opportunity all over. It's like landing on a different planet here. It really is. But saying yes to myself in many ways, and this was one of them, because if we don't really follow our heart, our head can overrule our heart, and mine did for many years until I ran across the principles. But to really put that in action and experiencing it, it just puts you in this whole different other world, of just really living in the world of possibility, right? And that's what it's all about. We say, how do you heal your past? Go make new memories, live in the present.
Yeah.
Your present moment has nothing to do. You're unobstructed by your past there, which is all thought. So the more that we stay present, we're able to make these decisions and able to just follow our heart and do what makes sense to us.
Yeah.
So it's been quite an experience.
So everybody who's listening, I know that, Lynn and I are going to say this a lot throughout this conversation. We're going to talk about the principles. We're not going to start explaining what the principles are. If
No.
you are a new listener, I will guide you to go see 3pgc.org just
Yeah.
because you're going to learn about Sydney Banks there. And it's basically, something that those of you who know mind, thought, consciousness know exactly what we're talking about. But I just wanted
Right.
to pinpoint those of you
Yes,
who are
thank
new
you. Yeah,
listeners.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I think that's beautiful. I love that you're doing that. I mean, I was actually just going through all my podcast episode because I create a most popular episode and I create favorite
Mhm.
episodes. And in one of them, in my favorite episodes, it's a man called Dre Smith, who's an 80, he's probably 82 by now. He's
Oh,
80 something years old and he has been in show business all his life, and he's gay in show business. Like he grew up in the 60s as a gay
wow.
man. And he said to me that his two favorite words are play and yes.
Love it. Love
So
it.
it's important. And my podcast is called Live the Life You Want, right? Dream
Yeah,
it,
see, I know. I love
live
it.
the life you want. And
Yeah.
I get a little resistance, like some people who like stick to the word. You can't do everything you want. And I'm like, actually, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
you,
Yes, exactly.
you
Yeah. And
can.
and yes, you can totally. And that's the thing, years ago I would have kind of like, oh yeah, right. But when you really begin to see that you can from a different place, the more that we have that level of clarity that we just stay away from, the voice. I always say, which voice do you listen to? Most of my life, I've listened to the head ego voice that told me I couldn't do these things. But when we really get to know who we are, we feel more confident. We're more comfortable who it is that we really are because we live most of our life from who we're not. And when you live from who you really are, a whole new world opens up. And yes and play are possible, you know?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. So how would you like, how did you get here? Like, like what was your travel to
Yeah.
get to this place? Like, were you, I don't know, were you an anxious person? Were you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I can talk to that. Absolutely. Yeah, I lived mainly in anxiety was my flavor,
Mm,
and worry and fear,
mm,
and I played life small. I always knew I had something more in me, but I didn't know, and that was like 22, 23 years old, but I didn't know what that all meant. I just had that feeling. But I just never didn't know how to listen to my heart. I didn't know wisdom. I didn't know that voice. I lived from up here as if everything was the truth. And I used to be petrified to fly. I was saying it as an anxious flyer was can't even do it justice. And I hated to fly. And I tell this story is because just to share this with people, just so you can see the level of fear and anxiety that I used to live with. So I used to just, when I had, only flew when I had to. I deprived myself of going anywhere because I was petrified. So, long story short, I would board these planes and just be sick to my stomach the night before, but I'd board. I'd be a wreck anytime little turbulence would happen. I would be beside myself. I felt sorry for anybody that was sitting next to me. And I would look around on the plane and I'd go, well, what's wrong with me? This guy's reading the newspaper. This woman's chatting with the other guy. This girl's having a glass of wine. I couldn't figure it out why I was so petrified. I won't even get up to go to the bathroom, nothing. And once we landed, oh my gosh, I was good again until I began to see where the source of anxiety was. Seeing that it wasn't coming from the airplane, it wasn't coming from the turbulence, because I was at home feeling nervous before I was even at an airport. So now when I fly a lot now because I flew here.
mm,
If I didn't overcome this, overcome isn't the right word, but to see the source of it, I would have never been able to fly. So now, could I still get nervous when I board? Of course, right? You hit a little turbulence. I'm always listening to the pilot. Oh, smooth ride. Oh, I'm good. Oh, it might be a little bumpy. Oh no. Then I realize that little voice kicks in. Really, Lynn? Here you can see that when you see the source, you have an option. You don't have to continue to just, play out the usual story. And I just ride now and I'm fine. It's not a problem. So, yeah, that's how I live my life, with a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of fear. The what if, I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. Like lots of other people, my story's probably like most people out there.
Yeah.
But when I really began to see that, that's just not true, then you step into what's possible. Whatever you thought was impossible becomes possible, because you're just at a different place. Your mindset's totally different, because you're not coming from the insecurities.
Well, what I'd like you to talk, because you kind of said that you kind of flew by on it, but I want to bring you back there. You said overcome is not the right word. And I
Yeah, yeah.
love that you said that. On another podcast not long ago, we were talking about how words, it's not the
Yes.
word. But
Yeah.
I would like you, because I'm sure people are going, okay, well, if overcome is not the word, what's the word, Lynn?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. And I guess, in the way that I think about the word overcome, it's like that I had to do something, but I
Mm,
didn't have to do anything. So I just had to see that I was the creator of the anxiety and the fear and the way that I was thinking. I had a lot of anxious thinking going on and fearful thinking. And so it's all I had to do was see it, but not from up here. But when you understand thought, you see it, and automatically you just decide, oh, I'm not going there. I don't want to ride for my next 3 or 4 hours like this. So I say overcome. It's not really overcome the way I see it, because I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to meditate. I didn't have to visualize. The flight was smooth. I didn't have to do a thing, but just see the source of it over and over and over again. And you can still have the experience, but it doesn't grip you. It doesn't take you over. So that's the difference, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. It's kind of like, see, like we were talking off camera, we were saying that a lot of people don't know what transformation is. Like, what is
Yes.
a transformative
Mhm.
coach?
Yes.
And I agree. A lot of people don't know what a transformative coach is. But if you're talking to a true transformative coach, you're going to be talking to somebody and you're going to be talking about something. And one day you're going to look at things and they're all going to be the same, but they're all going to be different.
Yeah.
And that for me that was mind blowing. Like how my father would annoy me when he said XYZ. And then one day I saw him and he said XYZ, and I was just like, why am I not annoyed? Why am I not angry? What's
Yes.
going on? So you just see something.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And that's what it comes down to, that no one can trigger, I hate that word, but trigger a
Yeah.
psychological response. It's always and only because of thought, because triggers don't come from the outside, they come from within, because it triggers a thought and how we're thinking about it. And
Yeah.
you're right. You just respond differently automatically. You don't have to do anything but notice it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I I I really love I would love to have a conversation with you about how we know we
Yes.
know what's good for
Yes.
ourselves. Like, I would really want people who are listening who don't know this, like, or maybe you think you know but you really don't know, or maybe you do know and you're like, yeah, we got you, girls. uh, but like, there's this place within us where we actually know, because you were talking about how you grew up anxious, and I was like, I saw as you were talking, I was like, oh, I know how I went from a place of, hearing what somebody thought and being, really shaky and thinking, oh, I like this. And then somebody would say something and I'd be like, oh, but maybe I don't like this. But once I put my feet strongly in the ground, where I settled into myself, I could really truly see that it didn't matter what anybody said. And I think that's a great way to live your life, because then you
Yes.
can just understand that other people have that too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But because
Yeah.
I didn't have that, and people would say this, say whatever they would say to me, I hope I'm not too metaphorical, but like they would say something to me and I would start shaking and then
Yeah.
doubt everything about myself.
Yes.
Then when somebody would talk to me, then I would doubt everything about themselves. Like it was just like I was just
Yes.
standing in doubt. That's
Yeah.
basically what I was
Yeah. Yeah.
standing in.
I get
But the
that.
second you stand into yourself and your truth in what
Yeah.
you believe without making other people wrong, you
Yes.
know, you don't think
Right.
like me, you suck. I did that a while.
Right.
You don't think
Right.
like me,
Yeah.
you
Me
suck.
too. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's okay. You don't think like me. Oh,
Yeah.
you're just not seeing it. You're not seeing what I'm seeing
Right.
because you're not
Right.
inside me. You see what you see.
Right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
what have you seen about seeing from within?
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I get it. But here's what I've seen that I guess I really see that when people give their unsolicited opinion, or maybe when they give their opinion, or maybe when they just say whatever's on their mind because they don't know that they don't have to obey every thought,
Mm,
instead of getting, wild up and crazed about it, I just see that they're in their thinking, that they're literally, they can think whatever they want. That's fine. And I just don't take it as the truth. I don't take anything personally anybody says to me, because I don't want to give my power into something like that, because these people are doing the best they can. They don't know they live in a thought created reality. They don't know that, you know, their feelings aren't coming from me, or, it's just coming from the way they're thinking. So when I really began to see that everybody's in the same boat, like you say, they just don't know that. They don't know about thought. So they're just saying whatever they're saying because that's what's on their mind. And
yeah.
there's pure freedom when no one can make you feel guilty, upset, angry, bothered, any of that. That's when you can really live your life, because now you're not angry, you're not ruminating about it. But it took me time to, I don't want to say get there, but to see that. Didn't happen for me overnight,
Yeah.
but everybody's doing the best they can, literally, because it depends on the quality level of thinking you're in. And if you're in a low level of thinking, that's what you're going to share with people.
Yeah, I
So it's pure
remember.
freedom.
Yeah, I remember someone was sharing, we were talking about this, because, we're in a community where we're all looking into the three
Mhm.
principles. And, in the beginning, yeah, I do see things, but I would see these people going, oh, and they would be like freaking out, and their life would be transformed from one call to another. You'd be like, what do you mean? And I remember talking with a coach who was like, well, for me it was small things. It was like little things that were changing. And then I kind of woke up one morning going, wait,
Mhm.
there was a bunch of small little things that
Yes.
disappeared
Yes.
for them, because of this understanding. Some people will have
Exactly.
a huge thing where it's going to blow their minds, but
Yes.
seeing the little things, for me,
Yes.
I see it as layers of thinking. It was kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
there's a table and there's a lot of stuff on it,
Yes.
and you're kind of like, oh,
Yes.
okay, let me remove this. And when you remove
Yeah.
it, oh, that was there,
Yeah.
that kind of showed
Exactly.
up like that for me.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I'll share this story with you. I was with, have you met Lori Carpinos? She's awesome.
I just reached out to her to have her on
Oh
my
yeah. Oh,
podcast.
she's awesome. She's awesome. So I used to live in Connecticut, and I didn't live far from her. So we came up with these groups we used to do. Actually, they were like part of Meetup. But anyhow, we do this a couple of groups, and we did like 2 a week. And so this girl comes on, and she says that, her boyfriend, they weren't getting along. And so he was living with her, and she said, you have to leave, we're done. We're done. And so she didn't really say too much, just some things about him she didn't like. So she showed up at every single meeting, every call. Maybe after, I don't remember. I'm going to say maybe the fifth call. She said, I've got something to share. Oh, go ahead. What's going on? Well, she said, I see that I've been very critical and judgmental of my boyfriend. She said, so I called him and she said, we're going to chat and possibly see if we can reconnect. She said, because I see what I was doing. And she said, really, all that stuff was coming from me. There's nothing wrong with him. And so it was unbelievable. And that's what happens. You just see it because truth, wisdom, truth, whatever you call it, insights, it's all the same. Clear your lenses of misperception. Sometimes it's so subtle, like you speak of, and sometimes it's like the 4th of July fireworks, but it lets you see what you couldn't see before. You're on the elevator or escalator at the bottom and you can't see much, and you go up and you go up, and pretty soon you're in the penthouse suite, and your view of life and yourself is more expansive. And that's where change occurs automatically, because that's how we're designed to change, through insights from a sight from within, not doing something. Before the principles, I used to give people, my clients, stuff to do, meditation, whatever it might be, a list of things.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw the principles, I only had maybe 2 insights, and I just dropped all of that, because it doesn't work that way. Because when you stop doing the self-help tools or whatever, you will revert back, because you're relying on something in order for you to change. But we don't change that way. We change through insights. And that's the beautiful part of it. When these insights wake up within us, they wake up a new level of awareness that we didn't have before. It's just fascinating, really.
It is. It's definitely fascinating. You wake up and you're just like, I call it waking up. Like you just wake up
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
something that you didn't see. It's
Yes.
like, oh man, I used to do that. Like I remember the first time I saw myself manipulating something. Like I was forcibly manipulating a situation to get the outcome that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. But I saw myself do it. And I was like, wow, like, wow, Jazz, you don't want
Right.
this.
Yeah.
you know, it was kind of like, and I stopped. It's kind of like sometimes, like, if I'm not present, it might show up to
Mhm.
show,
Yes.
because it's a habit, right? It might show back up,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh, no, 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 never mind. I've had,
Exactly.
in the past
Exactly.
year, I grew up in a family where we like to control. There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
There's, when you're trying to
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
something, there's fear. So I grew up in a
Yes.
family where there's a lot of fear. If there's a lot of fear, then there's a lot of wanting to control things so that you can feel
Yeah.
safe, right? So sometimes I can see myself, in even in my work, how I can start wanting to control, and then
Yeah.
doing when I was a kid, my mother would call it, my little dance. Oh, you're going to do your little dance now so that you can get what you want. I could see myself do the little dance.
Yeah.
And what was gorgeous, last year, what was gorgeous was I would do the little dance, and the people I'm working with are people that are in the community, and therefore the people don't react to my little dance. I would be in any other world, they would react to their little dance, to
Yes.
my little dance, and them reacting would make me, and it would become something, but they wouldn't do anything. And then it made me see it faster. Like I could see
Yeah.
faster. Oh, I'm having this habit that I've had since I was a kid. And I would just let it go and, come right back down to this space where things are. This
Yes.
is the place that I love to be. Things just are, you know,
Exactly.
that's
Yes.
it. There's
Exactly. Yeah.
no, it's bad thing, it's a good thing, it's a wrong thing, like there's
Yeah.
none of that.
Yes.
Things just are. And I love that
Exactly.
space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's where all the action of life happens, right? Right in that space where we're just always okay once we find our way back, so to speak. And you're right. I love what you shared because that's what happens. We all kind of go back to our old program when we're, paying attention to our thinking. We don't even realize it. But the thing is, you see it more and you spend less time there, and more time in the moment. So, you're creating new, they always talk about, new brain pathways do this. That's what happens. The less you run your program, the less the program fires all the time. You see it and you don't spend hardly any time there and you're back in the moment. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that. And oh my gosh, it's such a better way to live life. And then when we're not, this is what I find. I don't worry about being a work in progress. I write a lot about that baloney. I don't worry. I say baloney. I was there. People don't know what they don't know yet until they
Mhm.
do. I don't spend time trying to change my thinking, analyze my emotions, or any of that. I have more time in life for myself to do things that I love to do. I don't worry about healing a divorce I had 9 years ago, and it's the art of I don't want to say the art of letting go, but you can let go of stuff because what you're really holding on to is your thought about it, and you're not can't hold on to thought because when you're not thinking it, you're not feeling it, right? But it's just that we ruminate there. We go back to things that happen all the time. We pick them apart, we talk about it. There's no peace there. What you need is insights. Insights give you clarity on these situations, you know? And what a beautiful way to live. I mean, we have so much more life within us, unlived life to tap into when we're not ruminating and trying to change ourselves and looking for happiness and all of that. It's just amazing what opens up for someone who um, just doesn't spend time there anymore. It's fascinating.
Well, Lynn, I want to thank you again for coming on. Before we leave, I really want to address because at the time that we're recording, guys, it's she's having an event on
Oh
Saturday.
yeah.
You
Mhm.
guys won't be able to
It's be
go
too late.
because it's going to be too late by the time we
Yeah.
publish this episode. But she has something going on. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I have a what do I want to call it? A community of people that we're inviting to working with someone from Spain, a colleague, Lewis, and we're putting together a group called How Not to Be a Zombie at 60.
Hmm.
I was 60 last year. He was too. And so he's doing some great things in his life. He's writing, he writes about the principles, but he also is translating Spanish books into English. So he does a lot of that. And he's just a fascinating guy. And it's so funny. Both of us are really in this new stage of life where we're really doing what we want to do. And that's what we want to help people do and share that just because you're turning 60 or you're whatever in your 60s doesn't mean you have less life ahead of you by any means and more behind you because everyone has something they want to bring to life. That dream, that desire might be secret in them, and deep down they're saying, I can't do that. How could I do that? And they're dying with this music, so to speak, still in them, right? So that's what we're helping people do, not be a zombie. And we're going to ask people to bring one thing they want to move into motion.
Hmm.
And so that'll be fun. So that'll be probably start sometime in second or third week in April.
Okay.
And that'll be on Zoom. It's a global group.
Okay, good. So we'll put your website, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So we're gonna put your
Yeah.
website
Great.
in the description, and then people, you guys, if you want, you can reach out to Lynn there
Yeah.
and,
Awesome.
and join that. So thank you once again, and it
Thank
was a
you.
pleasure meeting you.
Same
I hope
here.
you're gonna have fun in your yes life.
Yes, that's so far so good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, you have a good one. And everybody else, I'm going to say, dream it, dare it, do it, live the life you want. And I'll see you next
Awesome.
week. Bye, guys.
Great. Bye-bye.